Yesterday, I asked you all what you were confused on with the current storyline, and I got a lot more responses than I expected. Originally, this was just a fun tweet I had to get some discussions going, but after the responses from you all, I figured I'd turn this into a video, going through all your replies and answering your questions to the best of my ability. If you like this new type of content, show me and I'll turn this into a series. Let's get started. So the first one we've got is from Sans. He says, not confused on, more so awaiting answers. Is the paradigm really dead, and are the 7 on their way? This is a hard one to find a definite answer for because we've been without story quests since the beginning of the season, but here's what I think. During our Oathbound quests, Amy mentions that the 7 are MIA, missing in action. She doesn't say that they're dead, and with how we were able to interact with the Chrome in Season 4, it's clear that being Chrome doesn't mean you're melted into nothing and never to be seen again. It's more of a temporary form you're stuck in. Without the lack of some huge spectacle, which Fortnite would do if our main characters were to die off, it seems to me that the 7 were taken somewhere else, possibly even the Cube Cradle, to face the Queen themselves. In a scrap cinematic for Fracture, we see 3 chrome blobs fly after the 0 point out of the mothership. Those would be the Visitor, the Scientist, and the Origin. Whether that happened or not, Fortnite is definitely planning them to be alive and well. And for Paradigm, it gets tricky because of the dialogue during Fracture. It sounded very much like the end of the road for her, but we didn't officially see her die, or any way she could have been harmed during the event. With her absence during the season and her quote about everything being up to us now, it seems like she left after reforging the island for us so she can go save the 7. This next one is from Mahmood. Where are the 7? Are Sloan and Paradigm alive, and when will the original Geno return? Well, just like the last question, I'd assume they're somewhere within the last reality's grasp, possibly in the Cube Cradle. I would say it's safe to assume Paradigm is alive, but for Sloan, it's a little bit of a gray area. The last we saw from her was Season 2, and she was seemingly crushed by the mech fist in her tank's fall down the cavern. But, just like Paradigm, we never officially saw her die. And we've also got 2 survey outfits of Sloan that we haven't seen yet, so it's likely she does return at some point this chapter, whether that be a younger version of her, a snapshot, or the original Sloan somehow surviving. And regarding the original Geno's return, that's uncertain. Last we saw, he was reforming himself out of the pieces of him scattered across realities from Collision. It's been quite a while since then, so I think it's definitely possible he returns within the next couple of seasons. Maybe once the Ageless successfully reestablishes the IO, Geno swoops in and takes it for himself. On to the next one. Gabby says, why did Herald randomly destroy the loop only for it to be rebuilt? Now that is a very good question. Going back to the scrap cinematic for Fracture, it looked like there was a whole plan this entire time for the Herald to explode the bubble and leave the 0 point exposed so a mothership could swoop in and abduct it. But as we can see, that never ended up happening. So does that make the Herald's entire season of planning useless? I'd say no. It seems that that was definitely the direction Fortnite was heading, but for whatever reason, they pushed off the last reality's return, giving off the impression that the Herald just failed, accidentally blew up the bubble, and froze herself in Chrome. If the mothership simply made its arrival, everything would click into place and the events that played out in the cinematic would have made sense. But for now, we just have to remember that plans do change sometimes, and it must mean the eventual return of the last reality is going to be insane. Okay, this one is huge. Timeless Order says, literally all of Chapter 4 and I know this entire story. Well, sorry, Timeless. Good luck with that one. Next, Galaxosphere asks, did the Herald create the reality tree or was it the 0 point? If she created it, then why would she want to chrome it? Well, from past 0 point bloomings, that being only one, which was the failed bloom in Chapter 2 Season 6, we know the 0 point tries to unleash a blossom of energy when it's free. That's exactly what happened in Season 3 when the 7 took down the IO and freed the 0 point. That being said, the tree was a direct consequence of this newfound freedom, basically meaning the 0 point made it. Quests for the Herald later on revealed that her Chrome power came from studying its power and mastering it, nothing she was born with from the get-go. Chrome also seems to be a 0 point original substance created during bloomings, and the Herald, having control over it, used this opportunity to seep into the island and undermine everything. In the end, it didn't really matter what she chromed because the main goal was to destroy everything anyway. She went and chromed the tree because that's where the loopers were hiding out and fighting. So long story short, the 0 point made the tree and the Herald's plan was to chrome everything anyway. I hope that answered your question. I absolutely love this next one, it's super interesting. This will be the last one for now, so get ready. Rox sends these pictures, one depicting a portion of the last reality's logo, and the other a symbol reoccurring within the primal civilization and the same symbol on the top, part of our alien teasers for Season 7. What's this image got to do with the first one though? Well, if you take a look at the bottom middle, it's the same symbol. one of the last reality's symbols is plastered all over the spire houses. Why? Well, this is yet another question we have no definite answer to, but I've got a theory that works pretty well. The primal civilization was zapped onto our island by the 0 points reality waves. That's how they all got here, which means wherever this place came from, they already had this symbol themselves. That can only mean one thing: the last reality was there before. We know the last reality spreads its corruption across the multiverse and takes over realities with the nothing, and it seems they might have paid a quick visit to this primal one too. Possibly they left a crop circle like they did on our island in season 6, and so the primal civilization, observing this strange higher power and technology, took one of the symbols they saw and implemented it into all of their furniture and buildings, somewhat worshipping it. It's definitely a loose theory, but it really seems like the only way they could have had the symbol so far before the last reality made their debut in season 7. That's it for today, Reapers. I hope I answered your questions, and if I didn't get to your reply, I made sure to respond on Twitter. I really found it fun answering some of your questions and making this new type of content, so if you enjoyed it too, subscribe and like the video so I know to continue making this stuff. Till next time, keep it reapin'. Donzo Bunzo.